The hurricane is one of the more destructive natural disasters. Hundreds of hurricanes appear year with year. The hurricanes are devastating in coast. It forms strong winds, storms, floods, and much fear and chaos. The hurricane is a tropical cycle of strong winds with strong rains and electrical storms. A hurricane is a violent and destructive storm in a small area. It is formed when warm and cold air mixes. The cycle of the hurricane is: first, if warm and cold air mix, the tropical storm forms. Then, if the tropical torment is very strong, it becomes to a hurricane. If the hurricane forms, in the coast form strong waves. If the hurricane is closer to the coast, strong winds and rains hit the coast. If strong winds and rains hit the coast, it becomes to floods. If the hurricane hits the coast, the hurricane loses force. If the hurricane loses force, it disappears. To prevent the hurricane, you can do this. If the hurricane comes, you need to have a boat. If the hurricane comes, you need to plan a route of evacuation. If the hurricane comes, you need to have medicines. If the hurricane comes, you need to have warm clothes. If the hurricane comes, you need to have food and water.
During the hurricane, you need to do: if the hurricane is closer, you need to cover mouth and eyes. If the hurricane is closer, you need to wait in a boat. If the hurricane is closer, you need to find cover. If the hurricane is closer, you don't go away. If the hurricane is closer, you need to listen civil protection.
After the hurricane, you can do: first, if the hurricane is end, you need to listen civil protection. If the hurricane is end, you have give help. If the hurricane is end, you have to help to clean. If the hurricane is end, you need to call to your family.
In a little quiet town in a woman island in Quintana Roo at 8 kilometers of Cancun, with the time, the town has adopted some superstition. They think that superstition happened after a hurricane. Some of these superstitions are: first, if there's a hurricane in little town, it will have good luck. Why? This is a belief. They think strong winds stifle the bad luck. If after the hurricane a rainbow appears, the little town will have money. Why? This is a belief. They think the end of a rainbow will find gold. If after the hurricane back down, a shark falls in a source, it will be a great fishing. Why? In 1827, a shark appears in a source after a hurricane. In this year, after appears, the little town increment his fishing zone. If a house stands up after the hurricane, in this house a baby will born. Why? In 1978, a hurricane devastated a little country, but some house stand up. In this year, some house a baby will born. 10 years later, the same things happen. If an old man disappears, will be less dead. Why? In 1943, 4 old men disappeared after a hurricane, but in this disaster were a few deaths.
If the hurricane forms, you will find cover. If a hurricane forms, you will need food and water. If a hurricane forms, you will go away from windows. If a hurricane forms, you will plan a route of evacuation. If a hurricane forms, you will stay close with your family. If a hurricane forms, you will follow civil protection. If a hurricane forms, you will cover mouth and eyes. If a hurricane forms, you will save important items. If a hurricane forms, you will help your neighbors. If a hurricane forms, you will wear thick clothes.